Just as it came in lower than hoped for domestically, Universal/Blumhouse/Morgan Creek's The Exorcist, Believer didn't fully convert overseas audiences, summoning a $17.9 million international box office debut for $45.1 million global. The R-rated David Gordon Green-directed reboot/sequel did see some of its 52 launch markets give it a #1 start, while in like-for-likes, the PAW is above M3GAN, Evil Dead Rise, Scream 6, and Smile. As regards the latter, recall that it legged out with terrific holds, so the comparison may not stick down the line since scores on Believer are not good and Taylor Swift is on deck. Anthony has done a deep dive on the details behind Universal's purchase of the Exorcist franchise and how this opening stacks against it. Read that here. Overseas, supernatural horror tends to play best in Latin America, and Mexico did lead the charge this session for The Exorcist, Believer, levitating to $4 million at #1 for the second-best start of a Blumhouse film post-pandemic. It's in line with The Curse of La Llorona and more than double Scream 6, M3GAN and Smile. Before we dig into more numbers on Exorcist, Believer, let's note that across town, Warner Bros. Celebrated a milestone this session with its international box office topping $2 billion for the year-to-date, while in general, this was largely a holdover frame before Swift takes over the world next weekend. Turning back to Exorcist, Believer, the UK followed Mexico with $2.1 million at #1, in line with The Nun 2 and above Evil Dead Rise and Smile. IMAX contributed 7% of the UK result. In general, The Exorcist, Believer is doing well in PLFs with $800,000 from IMAX internationally and $3 million global, a sign that folks are still looking for that premium experience. Italy opened to $1.2 million at #1, having claimed the second biggest Universal/Blumhouse opening day on Thursday. The weekend is in line with Halloween and above all Annabelle and Conjuring films, as well as Evil Dead Rise, M3GAN, Scream 6, and more than double Insidious, The Red Door. Spain opened to a dominant #1 with $966,000 on par with Insidious, The Red Door, and M3GAN and above Scream 6 and Smile. Germany took $938,000 in line with Insidious, The Red Door, and above Scream V. Other notable markets include Indonesia with $881,000. Wednesday there delivered the biggest Universal/Blumhouse opening day and the biggest for Blumhouse outside of the Insidious films. The weekend result is the third biggest opening for a Universal/Blumhouse film, in line with M3GAN. India launched with $655,000, the third best start for a Blumhouse title and more than 5x Halloween. Malaysia grossed $488,000 for the second biggest Universal horror opening of all time. After taking top dog status last session, Paramount/Spin Masters PAW Patrol, the mighty movie padded in with another solid $14 million from 57 overseas markets, down 47% in the holdovers for an $87.1 million global tally through Sunday. With 13 more markets opening this session, it's now out in 64% of the international PAW print. Leading new bows was Brazil at #2 with $1.6 million from 731 locations, followed by Korea at #5 with $355,000 from 374. Ukraine at #1 with $345,000 at 179. Finland at #1 with $340,000 at 128 and Belgium at a $330,000 #2 from 82. The pups are led overall by China, $13.2 million, Germany where they held #1 and have now grossed $5.2 million, Mexico, $4.5 million, Australia, $4.1 million, and Brazil, $1.6 million. Also notable, the second weekend in Singapore was up 25% at #1 with $550,000 to date. Markets still to open include the UK, France and Spain next week, and Japan on December 15th. New Regency/Disney's The Creator added $10.8 million from 50 offshore markets, minus 44%, for an overseas cum of $36.9 million to date and $61.8 million global. Markets showing good holds include Spain, -17%, Australia, -26%, Germany, -31%, France, -33%, UK, -42%, Italy, -46%, and Mexico, -49%. The top 5 to date are the UK, $5.2 million, France, $3.6 million, Germany, $2.9 million, Australia, $2.2 million, and Spain, $2 million.